What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I miss you so much. Do you want to hear something funny? I sat down to shoot this video yesterday, okay? It was like 3:30 or something like that. I was like, I'm gonna do all my makeup, sit down, shoot the video. Do you know what happened? As soon as I finished, I had to do something for work really quickly, and before I knew it, it was 4. And if you live up north like me, 4 o'clock, it's pitch dark, so I couldn't shoot even with my lights that I have on now at like 2:45. Like, it's that bad out here. And then today I'm like, I'm gonna do the same hair, makeup, top, sit down and shoot this video. So I sat down to shoot this video 2 hours ago. Do you know what happened? My boss called me because we have something that we have to get done really quickly, and you know what? I accidentally sent her a link to this online like tarot card reader thing that I was checking out, as opposed to like the document that I was supposed to be sending her for approval. So she called me, and at first when she told me that's what I sent her, I was like, oh my God, this is so mortifying. She probably thinks I'm like a weirdo or something, but like we had a good talk about it and blah, blah. Turns out we have a lot more in common than we thought. But anyway, let's finally jump into a recap for the 18th episode of the, 8th season of Teen Mom 2. The episode, before we even jump into the content of it, the producers were shady as all hell because they started off by like showing us Jace telling Jenelle that he didn't want her to marry David and all that. I had a good chuckle out of that, especially considering her recap ended with her own self talking about maybe we should just cancel the wedding. But anyway, in the first scene of the episode, Jenelle is talking to her friend in the bathroom as she prepares for the wedding. She's like, I've got no family coming to this wedding, and she plays victim when we all know it's pretty much her own fault. Like, if 101 people don't like you, there's probably a problem with, you at the end of the day. Now, Kailyn tells us that she went into labor late at night, but that she didn't want cameras at the hospital, which is really odd to me because if you recall, she literally had Radar online there when her child was only like, 5 hours old, and then she had them trail her back to the house for like magazine spreads and stuff like that. So it was really odd that she didn't want her own bread and butter there at the hospital for the birth of her child when she had, tabloids there. Like, why do you think tabloids are interested in your child in the first place? Come on now. Meanwhile, on the flip side of this, Javi breaks the news to Lincoln that his baby brother was born. Lincoln is excited to have a younger brother, and then he talks to his sister about how he's over the whole situation. He feels no feelings towards Kailyn anymore, and he tells Lincoln that he needs to, be helpful with the new child and all of that, and they both wish Kailyn the best of luck. They are better than me, because I would have been like, look at this trifling Tammy, good luck chasing down your baby daddy for this one. You guys, Briana's fake ass looks absolutely atrocious in shorts. It's like 2 dodgeballs sitting on toothpicks. Anyway, she and her family take Nova to school, and Nova's so sad. She is just the cutest, most sensitive little girl ever. It's adorable. I know the DeJesus family gets a lot of hate for this, but I personally have to say I absolutely love how close the family is. Is Briana enabled by her mom and her sister? Absolutely 100%. But when it comes to Nova, I love that she's got a mom, an auntie, and a grandma, all of whom are just so closely connected to her. Like, she's got a village behind her, and I think that's beautiful. And once they're outside, we see that Briana's first baby daddy, Devoin, came by to see Nova's first day of school, which is great for him, but I do have to laugh at the fact that he was wearing a Salvatore Ferragamo belt. I'm a label whore, so I know these things. And I think that retails from anywhere between $375 to about $500. So it's just so funny to me that he was wearing that belt, especially knowing that we all know that he can afford to put his child through her preschool. It's like, where are your priorities? This reminds me of that time a couple of episodes ago where Lewis popped up at the house rocking a $1,000 MCM bag. It was like, you're wearing a $1,000 MCM bag, but you're complaining about the fact that you cannot afford to bring your baby Pampers. Why don't you pawn that bag off if it's even real? There really wasn't that much going on in Leah's world. She was real bored this episode. Like, we just saw Addie continue to be rude to her, and it made me wonder what Leah does with her all day. That she's, first of all, so undisciplined, and second of all, doesn't seem to really know her alphabet all that well. Anyway, the DeJesus family goes out to grab lunch in order to celebrate Nova's first day, and Devoin actually joins them. His first mistake was sitting on the inside of the booth. booth. So they all get to talking, and Devoin reveals that he's got a second job, which pisses Briana off because she's like, why do you have 2 jobs and you're not helping me out financially with our daughter as much as you possibly can? Like, I've been lenient with you, not even like serving child support papers on you in order to work with you. And all the while you've got 2 jobs. What the absolute hell? I do think that what Briana was saying was very great, very relevant, but you're out here celebrating your daughter's first day of school. She is right next to you. You guys cry, yell, curse, fight all the time in front of her. And like, can you just not allow her to have one peaceful day where her anxiety is not through the roof? Like, come on. And the way that Briana delivered her message, like, you just know, you guys, like, she's the type of person who knows that her mom and her sister go hard for her. And so she plays extra victim, extra cryy, extra delicate in order to get someone to jump up for her. Like, you know that she was like setting up the volley for her mom to spike it down. And you know, her lonely ass mom is more than ready to fight with her men. And that is exactly what ends up happening a little bit later. Devoin tells her that the reason that he doesn't pay her anymore is because he wants to be able to have Nova at his own home, which is very legitimate to me. Like, I don't understand why all the visits with not only Devoin but Lewis have to be in that shoebox apartment. And so she's like, you know what, it's good, I'm getting your ass on child support. And Devoin is like, good, I'll get more rights and I'll be able to have Nova at my house. Briana claims that he won't be able to, but I think, you know, he doesn't have any, I know he got arrested for something, so actually maybe he won't be able to. I don't know about that, but I do think that what he's requesting is pretty reasonable. I wouldn't want to be at someone's house all the time to see my child. I want to take them out. I want them at my own house. All of that stuff. And so Devoin also tells her to stop acting like he is an ain't shit, like deadbeat, blah, 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 because he's always turning up for her first days of school and stuff like that, and that Nova asks for him, and there's no way you could possibly ask for a parent you've never met. I was like, that's ignorant as all hell. There are so many children out there who have never met their dads and still ask for them. That doesn't mean you're a great father. Briana sticks to her guns and she's like, no, you are a crappy, you know, father. What I said in that episode that you watch is right. You are not a good father. You suck ass as a baby daddy. And Devoin's like, you know what? How would you even know? You don't even know what it's like to have a dad. Ooh-wee, because at that point, Briana gets into full-blown meltdown mode. She quiets down, and her mom's like, say that again. Don't say that again. Blah, blah, blah. Try me, try me, try me. And she jumps up on, like, because they're sitting on a bench of a restaurant booth. She jumps up on the booth. Oh my God. And is like, don't ever talk to my daughter like that, this and that. And it was just so awful. Like, one of the producers had to hold her back. Like, this is friggin' Love and Hip Hop, Jerry, Maury, or something like that. It was so mortifying to watch the way that she just always inserts herself into all of these issues that Briana has with the men that she chooses to lay down with. Like, yes, it's awful to see your child be, you know, spoken to like that, or whatever. But first of all, you're in public. Second of all, it does not require you as a grown ass woman, like twice their age, to jump up on a booth and like act like you're gonna like punch them in the face or something. It's just so unclassy and just so mortifying. I could not imagine having a mother like that. Like, she is beyond embarrassing. Like, what the heck was that, Roxanne? I have a theory that like Roxanne had like these really, really awful traumatic relationships with men, and for some reason, anytime like a guy just does not bend to her or Briana or Brittany's will, she snaps and, you know, finds herself back in her own relationships. Because the way she speaks to these guys, you would think they were her own boyfriends or something like that. Like, simmer down over there. Briana is like, you know what, F you, I raise these kids alone. I don't know why she hangs on to that narrative when she's living in an apartment with her mom and her sister. Bri, you do not raise your kids alone. Otherwise, who the hell watched, you know, Nova when you were out there getting your butt botched and your vagina tucked in? Like, sit down. Have some humility or something. You are not raising those kids alone. Anyway, at this point, Devoin takes off his microphone and leaves. And you guys, like I said, Briana's reaction to all of this was a typical keyboard gangster. We all know online, Bri is all talk. She's ready to, like, you know, knuckle up anytime, any place. But, you know, in life, she's always crying and waiting for her mom and her sister to fight her battles. It's absolutely pathetic. Now, Jeremy does not show up to see Addie off to her first day of school, which is so sad for her, but not surprising. surprising. Harvey takes Lincoln to visit Kail and the new baby, and he just looks so sad. They talk about the birth and compare the birth weights between, you know, Lex and his brother Lincoln. And apparently it was all 2 hours with no epidural, and Harvey just pulls up a seat and he just looked sad as all hell. Now it's time for Chelsea's wedding. Her hair, when she walked in that scene to get her hair and makeup done, it was like caught behind her and it almost looked like she had a bob for a second. And I just thought, wow, I never realized how good she would look with a bob. Anyway, we get to see a little bit of her wedding. It was a bunch of like half-ass photos and 2-second like Vine clips of what was going on. And then yet again, she claims that Aubree had this grand idea to, you know, do a voiceover while she and Cole do their first dance. And I just had to laugh to myself at how often Chelsea lies about the things that she claims Aubree comes up with. Like, I'm supposed to believe that, you know, after Aubree is done filing for a motion to change her last name, she's out here planning weddings. Really, like, Aubree just went on Pinterest and was like, you know what would be absolutely perfect for my mom's wedding would be if I recorded a voiceover while she was doing her first dance. Like, do you know what I was doing at Aubree's age? What is she, like 6, 7? I was sucking my thumb. Like, I was not planning weddings for anybody, and I was not worried about my last name. So if everything that Chelsea says about this girl is true, then I do not know what the holdup is, because Aubree needs a Mensa card at this point. Now, Barbara gets away during Janelle's wedding and cries that David alienated Jenelle from the entire family, and her stupid ass friend says that's what marriage is. In what world does marriage mean you having no family and friends? Because I do not want to be a part of that world. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why Barbara hangs out with this girl. Like, she obviously does not have Barbara's best interests at heart. She is not gentle in the way that she speaks to someone who is crying and mourning the loss of her daughter, especially considering the super complex, you know, family dynamics at play here. Like, she's a very insensitive woman who is just so harsh and rude to Barbara. Like, I don't understand why Barbara keeps her as a friend. That's not a friend to me. And to make things even worse, this heifer goes as far as to tell Barbara that the broken relationship is her fault because she needs to make up with David and work on transitioning Jace back to them. What the absolute hell? She's like, you've got the key to fix this, Barbara. You just have to pick up the phone and make good with David. Do you not, like, what's wrong with you women? Guys, I just want to tell you that what I'm about to show you was traumatic to me. So I am warning you, if you are sensitive, do not look at the screen. Like, me going back and screen crapping this and just sharing it with you gives me the shivers. It's how gross this looks. And it's not to knock a person's appearance, because this is not her natural appearance. She is naturally beautiful with a great body. This is what she is trying to encourage young girls who follow her to do to their bodies. Okay, so I just want to say, like, my blood turned cold, my skin was crawling, I get shivers even thinking about what this looks like. Brianna's ass when she walked out of that restaurant, did you guys see her when she turned to the side? Absolutely mortifying to think that not only does she want to go back and get this touched up so that it gets back to, you know, whatever it was pre-birth, but that she continues to hawk this kind of body modification to children. You guys, there is nothing cute about this. There's nothing natural looking about this. It is absolutely absurd to think that this is some sort of not booty, how ironic, beauty standard in this day and age. Like, her butt looks deformed. It looks like someone took like a toothpick and shoved a dodgeball on top of it. Do not go out and get this surgery for all that is worse. I've seen a couple of these in real life, like only 2, because I live in a relatively small town or small city, and they do not look natural. You can spot them from a mile away. Anyway, her mom, who battles lupus, which is a very, very serious autoimmune disease, mind you, smokes a cigarette and cries over how dramatic and uncouth she was in the restaurant with Devoin. And he actually comes back around and puts his little do-rag on, presumably to protect him from the rain, as he talks to a producer about purposely pissing Brianna off and pushing her buttons because of the way that she disrespected his fatherhood. And he also lets us know that he is happy that she's putting him on child support because he's going to be able to establish more rights to Nova, like I said, being able to take her out of, you know, the DeJesus apartment and stuff like that, and that he's willing to pay whatever price to be with his daughter, which is a beautiful sentiment. Is anyone else stunned at the fact that all Leah did this entire episode of Teen Mom was take her kids to school and cry about it? Like, this is the kids' what, 3rd, 4th, 5th day of school? I do not understand why she was still crying over it. Kids go to school every day across America, girl. get it together. But anyway, I was pleasantly surprised to find that for the first time in pretty much the decade that we've seen her, she actually fed the kids real food at home. Now, mind you, it was a bizarre selection of food. She was feeding them spaghetti, or is it sketty over there? She was feeding them watermelon, and some of them were even eating toast as well. A very odd array of foods, but you know what? It was food nonetheless. And for some reason, she was serving them out of pots. It's like, Leah, you're a stay-at-home mom. What are you doing all day that you cannot cook something and put it in a serving bowl that you'll just clean up later? It's not like you've got anywhere else to be. Like, the kids are in school. Half of them you don't even have primary custody of. So I just don't get that. But anyway, she looked pretty in that scene, so let's leave that at that. Now, Joe, Isaac, V, and Vivi all go to visit Kail and the new baby. They bring gifts and lunch for everyone. Javi was actually still there as well. You guys, the last thing I would want to look at after giving birth is V's skinny, perfect body, okay? Like, I would be mortified. I'd have been like, Joe, take that heifer on out of here. I am not looking at that in my current state. You guys, Javi's face as Kail talked about the birth was so awkward. I have a feeling that it was MTV manipulation, you know, catching him when he was just looking kind of sad, quote unquote sad every once in a while, and stretching it out to make it look as if he was just awkwardly staring at her like that the whole time. But you can still see a little bit of sadness in his eyes nonetheless, and I do not blame him. If I got dogged out like that, I would be mortified. I wouldn't even be sitting around. I would be like, you know what, here's, you know, our child. I dropped him off. Let me go on home. Now, in the final scene of the entire episode, I do have to say I'm very, very underwhelmed by what we got to see about Jenelle's wedding. Like, where's all the drama, fighting, yelling, and stuff like that? They already screwed us last episode, and now here we are, not even getting pretty much any of that. David walks down the aisle with his little sunglasses on, two hecklers, how classy, and he makes a little bit of a joke about it being like his last chance to back out and miss those paychecks for life. Hell no, you're not gonna back out. As Jenelle and her backwards veil are walking down the aisle with no bouquet in sight, he starts crying about, you know, how great it is to have financial security in the form of a teen sugar mama in these tough economic times, and I honestly don't blame him. So guys, again, Jenelle's veil, what was going on there? I know she wanted a dress that was out of the box, but did that include the veil as well? Because that is not exactly the way you wear veils around here or anywhere that I'm aware of. She looked really, really odd. I don't know how someone let her go down the aisle like that. Her friends must hate her secretly. And that was about it. The only thing really noteworthy there was that everything was untailored. Jenelle's dress was way too long for her. Petite physique. David's tux was off. All of the baby's tuxes were not fitted to them either. But oh, Kaiser, if that is not the cutest little ring bearer, I do not know what is. And that concludes the season finale of Teen Mom 2. Highly underwhelming. Like, we didn't get to see that much of Jenelle or Chelsea's weddings. Kail was talking about the birth of her child the entire time. We didn't get to see that either. Leah cried about taking her kids to their 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th day of school. Like, nothing really happened. It was a very underwhelming season finale, especially considering they had us watching this season for like damn near a year. You guys, this season of Teen Mom 2 lasted longer than my relationship. Let that sink in. But that is all. God, you guys, that's all. Leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. You can also like this video, subscribe for more. Feel free to share it with your friends as well. And follow me across social media, where I absolutely love chatting with you. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.